Escalating tensions between NATO and Russia take center stage as US President Joe Biden meets with Nordic leaders in Finland. Amidst threats of airstrikes and nuclear warfare, the alliance's support for Ukraine draws a firm response from Russia, raising concerns about the future of international security. US President Joe Biden is preparing for a meeting with Nordic leaders in Finland, while tensions between NATO and Russia escalate. Russia has responded to the Western alliance's support for Ukraine by conducting airstrikes and issuing nuclear threats, as reported by AFP on Thursday. At the recent summit in Vilnius, Lithuania, NATO, led by the US, pledged its support for Kyiv. However, it did not provide a specific timeline for Ukraine's membership in the alliance. According to Kyiv, Moscow carried out an aerial assault on Ukraine, resulting in the destruction of 20 Russian attack drones and 2 cruise missiles. The capital city suffered significant damage, with 4 people injured, according to the mayor. In protest against Western support, Russia declared that it would consider the F-16 fighter jets sent to Ukraine as a nuclear threat due to their capacity to carry atomic bombs. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov emphasized that Russia could not ignore the potential nuclear capabilities of these aircraft, dismissing any reassurances provided by the West. Taking the lead in a coalition of 11 nations, the Netherlands and Denmark have initiated a plan to train Ukrainian pilots in operating US-made F-16s, following authorization from Washington. Similar threats have been made since Russia's special military operation against Ukraine in February 2022. President Biden's visit to Helsinki comes after the G7 countries committed to supporting Ukraine until it overcomes Russia's aggression. During his visit, the 80-year-old president will meet with Finnish President Sauli Niinisto, whose country shares a 1,300-kilometer, 800-mile border with Russia and abandoned its historical military non-alignment after Russia entered Ukraine. Additionally, Biden will discuss security, environmental, and technological issues with leaders from Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Iceland, aiming to explore cooperation between the Nordic countries and the US. This visit marks the first time a US president has visited Helsinki since Donald Trump's summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin 5 years ago. During the NATO summit, President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed disappointment as the alliance did not provide a clear timeline for Ukraine's membership. The G7 nations instead offered Ukraine a package of long-term security commitments through bilateral agreements with Kyiv and other wealthy nations. Speaking at the NATO summit, Joe Biden sought to demonstrate resolve to Putin following his meeting with Zelensky, stating, "We will not waver." He emphasized that Putin's doubts about the determination and unity of the US and its allies were unfounded and that their conviction would remain unwavering. In the aftermath of the overnight strikes, Yuri Ignat, spokesperson for Ukraine's air forces, highlighted the inadequacy of recently supplied Western weapon systems to cover the entire country. Ignat stated that Ukraine lacked the means to destroy ballistic missiles and that the Air Force was still gathering information about the consequences of Russia's Iskander-M ballistic missile launch from occupied Crimea.